What does FDIC insurance cover and up to how much?
I'm assuming, like obviously debt. How much, I really don't know.
I think it's up to $250,000.
If you only pay the minimum on a credit card, what happens to the remaining balance?
I think it depends on the card, but what, like 3 to 5%?
What is the difference between gross pay and net pay? So today we're gonna be testing UNC students on their financial literacy, although there's only two problems. A, it's the summer, so there's no one on UNC campus right now. And B, it's raining right now. So instead of conducting the usual street interviews, what I'm doing today is I'm just gonna go visit some of my friends and test them on their financial literacy to see if they are equipped with the skills to move into the real world where they have to manage their money. What's your name, your age, and what's your major?
My name is Dylan. My age, I'm 20, about to be 21. So birthday coming up next month. And then major, I'm a business administration major. But I also have a minor in econ and history.
When you get your paycheck, what is the difference between gross and net pay?
Ooh, that's a good question. Gross pay is the total pay. That's like before taxes and stuff like that. Net pay is after taxes.
Right.
So that's when it gets factored out. I think, unless I'm confusing the two, but I'm pretty sure gross pay is like the total pay.
You got it, yeah. All right, I'm here with
Zach.
And how old are you?
I'm 21.
And what's your major?
Econ and exercise sports science.
All right, so we're gonna ask him a couple of financial literacy questions today. Let's see if he knows how to get rich.
Let's see.
All right, do you know what the difference is between gross pay and net pay in the context of like a paycheck from a company?
I should know this. Gross pay refers to kind of like before any taxes or deductions. I guess net would be your take home.
Net pay refers to just how much it is before taxes. Gross pay is afterwards, I'm guessing.
Flip that around. It's the other way. Gross pay is...
Oh, really?
Yeah. Gross pay was before taxes. Net pay is after taxes.
Oh, that was like a gross profit, like, no, 7.
Well, it's good that I...
Yeah, similar things. Oops. Oh, well.
Right. What is your name, your age, and your major?
Xavier, age 20. I had to think about that for a second. And then major poli-sci history. So we'll see how this goes.
All right. What is the difference between gross pay and net pay in the context of like getting your paycheck from a job?
Okay. All right. Gross pay is how much you make before, I think, and then net pay is how much they take out afterwards.
Right. So your gross pay is like if you're paid $15 an hour and you work for 4 hours, that's just $60.
Yeah.
Then you get Medicaid, you get state taxes, federal income tax withholding, all of your taxes, and Social Security, and that's the amount that you'll take after. What is the difference between a debit card and a credit card?
A debit card just pulls from, your account, your savings or checkings with no sort of fees, but like a credit card is like an agreement with a financial institution where you're able to they set a limit for your spending and kind of have to pay that back either in installments or in full. And there's like interest rates and stuff which can make you pay more. So I guess like a debit card is technically like a safer option where a credit card allows for more spending, but you have to be like on top of your stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Credit card's the fun one, debit card's the bad one. See, credit card, you can just put the card in the machine and it gives you free money and the government doesn't know about it. But the debit card is the bad one because you have to, it just comes out of your account. But the credit card's the fun one.
I know a credit card, you can build your credit score with it. So that's a very good thing. And I need to get a credit card actually. But besides that, I'm not too sure. I think one is connected to a savings account or like a checking account or something like that, but I'm not too sure. All I know is you cannot build credit with a debit card. So a debit card, it's linked to your checking account. And so the debit card, you already have the money per se. But a credit card, you're using money that you technically don't have, and then you have to pay it back. So it builds up your credit score and stuff.
Well done. Couldn't have explained it better myself.
Yes, sir.
What is a credit score and roughly what range is considered good?
I believe above 700 is good, and a credit score refers to a score that they calculate based off how likely you are to pay back your debt after you incur debt from using a credit card.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, over 700.
A credit score is a metric used to determine whether somebody is, I guess, good or bad to give credit in loans to. I don't know exactly who technically comes up with it, but I don't know how it gets calculated, but a good range, I'd say I mean, ideally, if you're perfect, you want to be like what, 600, 700, at least above 500. Yeah, I'd say 500 to 700 is a good range.
Credit score is how on time you make your payments. So like if you make your payments very on time, then your credit score is very good. If not, then it's lower. So you want a higher credit score. Good credit score, I don't know the range. I know like 600 or 700 is pretty good. I think it can go up to like 799 or something like that. So it's not up to 1,000. I know that, but anywhere up to like 600 or 700 is pretty good.
Yeah.
Credit score is just like how well you're paying your things back. So like for your credit card or for loans or something like that, if you're able to pay those back, then you generally build up your credit score. And I think like the highest is like in the 700s or 800s, but I'm pretty sure like a 600 or 700 is pretty good.
Yeah, somewhere around 650 is considered good, okay-ish. 720 is like pretty good. 800 plus is like great, fantastic. You're gonna be like approved for basically anything you ask for.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
If you only pay the minimum on a credit card, what happens to the remaining balance?
You have to pay it back, but you also have to add interest. That's how the credit card companies make money.
Do you know how much interest usually?
Depends on the credit card and how much.
What
you're, like,
ballpark?
say like 10%.
It's actually 20. It's really bad. That's why credit card debt is like so hard to get out of and like sometimes sends people into bankruptcy is because it is 20%.
If you only pay the minimum on a credit card, what happens to the best of balance? I mean, I assume, it continues to stack up and there's interest that you then have to pay moving forward.
Yeah. Do you know approximately how much interest it is?
I think it depends on the card, but what, like 3 to 5%?
It's more like
10, 20?
20.
20%?
Yes, 20%.
Only pay the minimum. So you're saying only pay like the amount that you like paid for the month?
So credit cards will basically, they'll have a minimum payment of about like anywhere from $20 to like $40, depending on how much you spent on the credit card.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the minimum to just, I guess, keep your account open, basically.
Yeah.
So basically, it's what happens when you don't pay off your credit card at the end of the month. So what happens?
I'm gonna be honest, I'm not sure. I'm sure they probably like take away your access to the credit card or something like that.
Not necessarily, but your balance starts accruing interest from month to month if you don't pay it off in full. So do you know approximately, I mean, it'll vary from bank to bank, but do you know approximately how much that rate is?
I do not know.
Do you want to guess?
I'll guess. Give me like a ballpark to guessing.
2 digits.
2 digits, okay. So like 10%? Yeah, I don't know.
It's actually more around 20.
20%.
20%.
Okay.
So
what do you mean a minimum? Like, could you explain that a little bit?
yeah, so basically the credit card at the end of the month or at the end of the billing cycle is gonna tell you here's the minimum that you have to pay and then here's the full amount that you can pay, right? So if you only pay the minimum amount, what happens to the rest of the balance? And the minimum ends up being like only $25 to $35 or like a small percentage of your of how much you charge to the credit card.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't even know that there was like a minimum and maximum or whatever, but I would assume that your credit score goes down if you only pay the minimum every month. I'm sure they want you paying more than the minimum. So I would assume your credit score goes down, and if you do it enough, I would assume that like your account can get closed and stuff like that, but I'm not sure.
What I know for certain is that it will accrue interest. Do you know what that interest rate is?
Wouldn't it depend on your bank or no?
It would depend on your bank, but like, do you know the general range for credit cards?
I'm gonna be honest, I have no clue.
It's about 20% plus.
Dang.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So it grows 20% per year, basically. So if you pay that minimum balance, it's going to accrue interest, I think on a monthly basis as well. So that's how people end up.
Maybe don't want to do that.
Right. Yeah. You want to pay your credit card off in full every month, or maybe even pay it off like several times per month if you're like super neurotic about it and you want to make sure you're on top of your finances. But if you pay the minimum, it will start accruing interest. So that is very bad. What is an overdraft fee and roughly how much is one?
Is that referring to like how much you have to pay before you get a credit card, or no? Wait, no, that's not a thing because you just apply for a credit card.
It has to do with your checking account.
Oh, is that when you withdraw, like you overdraw, like
Yeah,
you take
yeah.
more money out of your account?
Yeah,
than actually exists?
you take more money than you have out of your account. Usually they say it's about $25 to $35, although there is, don't quote me on this, a little bit of legal trouble. People are saying that that's unfair. I think it's like low-key kind of fair, but like, you know, it does punish the poor for being poor, basically.
Okay, so an overdraft fee, I think that's where like you basically take all the money, like you pay for something, but you don't have enough money in your account. And so then like you basically, like they make you pay a fee because you don't have the money in your account to pay for it.
Absolutely. Do you know about how much it is?
I'm not sure. I'll ballpark again. Would it be like $100?
It's usually around like 20 to 40.
Okay.
Usually around like 25, 35, something like that.
Okay.
Ooh, an overdraft fee. So an overdraft fee is when you go past the amount of money in your account, and you know the bank will let you spend it, but they're gonna charge you, you know, a fee for going over that. How much it is? I mean, it obviously depends on the bank, I'd assume, but like what, like $150 maybe an overdraft fee?
I think it goes typically like 25 to 35-ish.
25? Okay.
And yeah, you're absolutely right. It's when you just get a negative balance in your checking account because you spend more than you have.
Yeah.
Has that ever happened to you?
It actually did happen once, and that's why I thought I got a $50 overdraft fee. This was in like beginning of high school or end of middle school. I don't know what I bought. I just wasn't looking at my bank account, and I was just like, oh shoot. And then like I looked like a week later and it was like -40. I was like, what the fuck? They charged me like $35. Okay, I was like, damn, this sucks.
Overdraft is when you take too much money out of your account. So let's say you have like $600, but you take out $700, you know? Then you would have an overdraft fee for taking too much money out of your account. What percent it is, I'm not too sure. I don't know like the specifics. I think it can vary. Like if it's like a CD, so like a certificate of deposit, I think it's a little higher, but I'm not sure.
It's about 25 to 35 depending on the bank. I think they're trying to write a law right now that they're trying to outlaw overdraft fees basically because people think that they're unfair basically. I don't know. I won't speak on the politics of it. I think I'd rather not have them. I try not to overdraft, and I've only done it once, I think. So,
well,
you know.
I mean, obviously it lets you. How do you, like, do you just have to stay on top of stuff like that and make sure, like, when your account's getting low, like, not to do something like that, like, take too much out?
Yeah, I mean, the strategy, or I mean, are you asking, like, what's the strategy to avoid overdrafts?
Right, like, do they not send you, like, an email or something?
Yeah, they do. They do typically give you, like, a 1 day's notice or something like that, where it's like, hey, your balance is negative right now, and if you don't fix that within, 24 hours, then we're gonna charge you an overdraft fee. Mm-hmm. And the way to get around that is to have like 1,000 more in your checking account than you actually need at any time. Yeah. What does FDIC insurance cover, and up to how much?
I've seen that acronym before. I'm just gonna guess. I would assuming, obviously debt. How much, I really don't know.
FDIC insurance. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I do not know what it covers. Let's try and think about it. So FDIC. I mean, the acronym FDIC, I feel like it's gonna be what? Federal something. Direct. I don't know. I think you have to tell me.
FDIC individually or like for a bank?
For a bank.
I think it's up to 250,000, and it came about during the Great Depression, I think, because banks didn't have enough money to pay it out, and so like pay out people who wanted money right there. So yes, so then they didn't have any money to pay, and so it's just to prevent that, in case a bank doesn't have any money,
Right, yeah. The bank either has some kind of fraud or they messed up along the way, or everyone goes and scrambles to cash out everything at once.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so FDIC is that's basically like it insures banks basically. And so if a bank is covered, after the Great Depression, every bank had to be covered by FDIC. So that way the banks didn't crash. Not sure how much it covers though.
It's $250,000 per person, I believe.
Oh,
Not
really?
per account. Yeah, it's per person.
I got you.
So
Dang, a lot of money, right?
it's a lot of money. But if you're a multi-millionaire, you might be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
Do you know what typically might cause, like, can you give examples of what might cause a bank to need to use something like that?
Yes, I would say something like inflation, maybe. If there's if prices are getting higher and stuff like that, and people have to take out like money and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying?
Usually it's when, for example, everyone rushes to the bank to take all their money out at once, and the bank doesn't have like enough cash to do that. Or it can be just like mismanagement or corruption that just they're like, okay, shut this bank down, basically. So it's more catastrophic stuff usually.
I got you.
What is the difference between a stock and a bond?
Stock is money you can invest in real time. Bond takes a while for it to accrue to the point where you can cash it in.
So I believe bonds are issued by the government. Stocks are traded like on the Nasdaq or other, each country has like their own stock market, and you're essentially like buying a share of a company kind of with the hopes of it, going up. Whereas like a bond is issued by the government. I'm not really sure what it's backed by. I'm assuming it's more stable.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The bond is backed by, the trust of the American people in the treasury, basically. And you can think about it like a loan. Some of them, they have like certain maturity dates, like, okay, in 30 years, if you give us 1,000, we'll give you, 1,100 back or something like that.
Okay.
It's probably better than 1,100, but
Oh.
yeah. So they're definitely safer than bonds because
bonds are safer than stocks.
Bonds are safer than stocks because stocks are like,
You know what they say, guys?
You know what they say.
Scared money don't make money. Scared money don't make money, okay?
part-time.
Fuck bonds.
Bonds are safer than stocks. Stocks are generally considered more risky. So if you're older, you definitely want to invest more in bonds. If you're younger, you can, take a chance and invest in stocks, and you can diversify your portfolio, obviously. But generally younger, you invest in stocks just because they're a little more risky, but they have more return on them. A bond is a lot less risky. And a bond usually is from the government, whereas stocks are like investing in an individual company.
Right. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head.
Dang. As we have a hammer right here.
That's true, yeah.
A stock is something that you invest in, I'm pretty sure. There we go. That's a very, very general answer, but I think you invest in a bond too. I'm not sure exactly of the difference.
A stock is basically part ownership of a company.
That's right.
Usually a very small part. And a bond is, you're right, you can invest in both of these things. Do you know which one is more risky?
Off a guess here, the bond?
No, actually, bonds are usually loans to people. Most of the time we think about them as like treasury bonds with the government. So it's either the government, sometimes a company will also give out bonds, but it's a set amount that they say that this will grow. So it's gonna have like a maturity date, and they're gonna be like, okay, it's gonna be worth this, amount at the maturity date. And with stocks, that's going to be like you're investing in a company. So that could be a lot more risky, but that could also give you a lot more of a reward. Like if you invest in the right company, they could have doubled your money within a year, basically. But like I said, that's very risky. So
yeah, for sure.
If you move into a higher tax bracket, is all your income taxed at the higher rate?
Well, it should be, but based off the question, I'm assuming no.
Do you know how it's taxed?
Based off how much you make, and then the government has a certain percentage based off a higher tax bracket, you're then gonna have more taxes. That's how it should be.
So if I moved, let's say below $48,000, you're taxed some percentage, and then above $48,000 is the cutoff, right? $48,000 a year. If I make $50,000 a year, it's not that all of my income is taxed at that new rate. It's that only the $2,000 that I made above the $48,000 threshold is taxed at that new rate.
Oh, all right. Good to know. It's like the poverty line or something.
No, I'm just that's a random number.
I was curious.
I don't know
why,
what the
like 48,
actual.
that's actually ass, bro. I am so sorry.
No, actually,
That's
no.
the number. Yeah. I was thinking about that.
I have no clue.
I forget how the calculation works, but it's like it descends based once you meet a cap. I don't know the specifics, but no, it's not all taxed at the same rate.
Right, yeah.
No, it's taxed proportionally. So this actually came from Econ 101. Shout out Econ 101 here at UNC. It's taxed proportionally. So let's say you moved up to like from 30 to 35 or something like that. It's taxed proportionally. So like the first 100,000 is taxed at like 10% or whatever. There's a whole formula you do. I'm not gonna lie, I forgot the formula, but I mean, it's taxed proportionally basically.
Right. If you move into a higher tax bracket, is all of your income now taxed at that new rate?
No.
Do you know how it's taxed?
No.
Okay. So basically, let's say there's a cutoff at 100,000, right? And my money is taxed at some rate below 100,000 and it's taxed at a higher rate above 100,000.
Yeah.
So if I get a raise and I used to make 98,000 a year and now I make 102,000 a year,
Sure.
what happens is that the first 100,000 is taxed at that lower rate, and then that extra 2,000 that I made above the threshold is taxed at that new rate. So it's not that everything is taxed at the new rate. It's that only the part above the threshold of 100K is going to be taxed at that new rate. So basically, raises will never lower your take-home pay.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
How much should an emergency fund cover?
What is it, like 2 months of like housing, food, like all that stuff, basic daily price. Not daily
actually-
price, it's daily living.
It's actually more than 3. It's more like 3 to 6 months
Oh, it's
of
3 to
essential
6.
expenses.
This is a big problem. Emergency funds for Americans are obviously a big problem. I don't know the statistic, but I think it's like
Not a lot of people
over
have anything
75% of
saved.
Americans, if they get in like a critical accident, will be unable to pay for medical care, or like will have no savings essentially. So like I'd say ideally you want, I mean, shit's expensive nowadays, like 5 figures at least. Obviously that's very unrealistic for the average person, but I'd say 5 figures.
I think it depends on where you are in life. Like for me, like 20-year-old, 18-year-old, an emergency fund probably doesn't need to be anything over 500, although it's good to be safe. I think when you're older, like you said, having at least 1,000 is probably good, but I would say the more you can have, obviously, the better. So especially like if you have like some medical emergency or something like that, definitely the more the better you can have there.
Right.
It should cover, I think, savings for up to 6 months.
Savings.
All right, like expenses for up to 6 months. Yeah.
Look at this guy.
Wrong
People
word.
typically say 3 to 6 months of your essential expenses. You know, what might you pull this money out for?
Oh, like say you got in like a car accident or something like that and needed to pay for that, then you would take that money out.
Right. Yeah. You're not going to be paying for concert tickets with this money.
With the emergency fund,
Right.
for sure.
Yeah. So on the lower end of 3 months, you might save up 3 months if you feel like you're more stable. You don't have anyone depending on you. You have a stable job that you don't think, you know, you're going to get fired anytime soon or something like that. If you have people that depend on you, maybe a spouse or some kids, you might want to be on that 6 month end just because you want to give yourself a lot of wiggle room in case something happens. What is inflation and roughly what was it last year?
Inflation is basically the price of everything increasing due to basically just systemic factors such as gas going up. That would mean that transportation costs go up, making it harder for goods and services to be produced, which means prices are going to go up. And basically, just the overall value of the dollar decreases. You see this in like low socioeconomic countries, such as Vietnam with the dong currency they have, where you could have like 5 million dong, but that's like maybe $1,000 USD. So yeah. And the rate of last year, I know it's gotta be high. You're talking like overall, right?
For 2025.
For 2020, just the overall year. Was it like 4%?
It was actually 2.6 or 2.7.
That was close.
That wasn't a 6-7 joke. That was genuinely. That's
I don't
genuinely
believe you, but sure.
The numbers that they were using.
Yeah, I got you.
It was actually 2.6 or 2.7.
That was close.
That wasn't a 6-7 joke. That was genuinely. That's
I don't
genuinely
believe you, but sure.
The numbers that they were using.
Yeah, I got you.
And basically, the Fed actually targets an inflation rate of 2%-ish, which basically encourages Americans to spend a little bit, right? We want that to stimulate the economy a little bit because they're like, oh no, but my dollar's going to be worth less, you know, if I just hoard it all.
This is true.
So it's good to keep the economy flowing. All right, you somewhat passed, maybe passed. I wasn't really counting the questions. You failed. I don't know.
So inflation is essentially your money is getting you less as time moves on. Like your currency is, I mean, essentially kind of being devalued over time. Your question was the rate of inflation last year?
Yeah, 2025.
I feel like it was pretty fine. It was like what, like in the threes, 3.2,
2.6 or
2.6.
2.7. So it was actually lower than.
Yeah, not bad.
I feel like prices rose more than that, but you know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, there's a disparity between like actual inflation and like people's perceptions of what they're able to get.
We can also think about it like, you know, are wages rising with it?
Yeah, it's
and
true.
Then,
Like,
and
if
you're
your
gonna
wages don't
feel
rise.
more. You're gonna feel like everything is way more expensive if your money isn't up.
True.
The Fed does target about 2%, and you're absolutely right. It is basically when prices naturally kind of inflate over time, they rise a little bit, and so your money is worth a little bit less year after year. And basically, do you know why inflation is like some tiny amount of inflation is good?
I knew this at one point. I don't know. I can't remember now. They told me in Econ 101.
It's a bonus question. But basically, it stimulates spending. If you know your money is going to be worth a little bit less, you're going to spend a little bit more now. And a reasonable amount of spending is good because it stimulates
So it's a GDP,
economic,
bro.
GDP, stimulates economic activity. If we had deflation, then everyone would hoard their money because they know like naturally it would just gain value over time, basically. So yeah, this guy definitely passed. He knows his stuff. I mean, hell, he's a business and econ major. Like he's got to know his stuff.
Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe and comment.
I looked at inflation in Econ 420 this year, so I don't remember how much it was. It's usually, all right, we're gonna get into a very specific response here, but the Fed mandate, there's a dual mandate, and one of them is to try and keep inflation around 2%. I think inflation is a little higher than that right now because people have been mad about the economy and stuff like that. I don't think it's as high as it was, so I'm guessing around like 5% or something like that, but I think it's a little higher than 2%. What is inflation? It's money being less valuable. So like you would need more money to pay for the same item. So like, I don't know, like you think about World War II and like Germany, how inflation was so high there that they were like, I remember this crazy story how they were like buying bread and stuff like that. And they'd be using, I think it was like €1 million or something like that, just to buy some bread, which is crazy. But yeah, it's the cost of, I want to say the cost of money, but like money getting less valuable.
Right, you're absolutely right. Also, the Fed does try to keep inflation right at 2%.
What's the other part of the dual mandate? There's two things. It's 2% and I don't know. I forgot to.
Last year in 2025 was actually 2.6 or 2.7.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, depending on who you ask, it was about 2.6 or 2.7. That's not a 6-7 joke. That's genuinely the number. I think right now, don't quote me on this, but it's like around 3 or 3 to 4, I think, somewhere around there. So you are right, like it is pretty high right now. And yeah, absolutely. It's just goods costing more, which means that your dollar can buy less from year to year. And my theory, and at least I guess the general understanding of inflation is that it's kind of a prompt for Americans to spend, at least spend a little bit right now, because they know in the future their money's gonna be worth less, might as well buy now, right? If you buy now, that stimulates the economy, it supports businesses.
Dude, you're scaring me with all this econ stuff, bro. Holy.
But this guy definitely passed. I mean, he's a business, he's an econ major, he knows his shit.
I better have passed, bro, with this UNC degree, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you, E. Boom.
It's a firm handshake.
Let's go. Yeah, exactly. Got to do it with a business major, bro. Not sure about 2025, but I can take a guess later. Inflation is just when, like, I'm going to butcher this a little bit, but it's like when the price goes up as quantity goes down.
So basically, it's when just prices go up over time because the American dollar just loses value. What's the best way to explain this? It's just that prices rise over time, and the Fed wants this to happen. Do you know why?
Prices to rise over time?
Yeah.
Why they want it to rise?
A little bit, like a reasonable amount, you know?
So there's more money that they're making?
Not necessarily. It's when, basically it's to stimulate a little bit of spending. If you know that your money is not gonna be worth as much in the future, you might wanna spend a little bit now instead of saving, basically.
Yeah.
The Fed typically targets around 2%. So something that costs $100 today might cost $102 a year from now. It's not going to be exact for 2025. Do you want to guess what that rate ended up being?
Give me a ballpark again, because again, I'm gonna butcher it a little bit.
It's not as high as you think. It was like pretty decently close to the target.
I'm going to guess it's not in the double digits this time.
Oh, we would have serious trouble if we were in the double
Okay,
digits.
That's what I was thinking. Is it a number less than 1?
No.
No. Okay, so I'm going to guess 2% is the inflation rate.
Not, it was kind of close. It was 2.6.
Okay.
Some people also say 2.7. It was around that ballpark.
Okay.
That wasn't a 6-7 joke. That was the actual number. So, heard.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, is that it?
That was it.
That was it?
You passed, bro.
I don't
Some
know.
questions. I mean, you listen. You got most of the questions. Some of them they were more clear and concise.
Yeah.
Than Dylan. Some of them you didn't know that Dylan knew. So you two duke it out between yourselves.
He's the finance guy, so
He
he
is
could
also
tell
the
me.
finance guy. So
He could tell us a lot more than I could tell. A lot of these
listen. You held your own though.
I held my own. I appreciate it.
Comment section, decide who did better. Who did better?
A lot of these I've heard before. It's just like, like just nailing down the term. But I
Right.
appreciate the resident finance guy over here.
I try my best. I try my best.
Shirt.
All right, so after talking to these UNC kids, they definitely know their stuff. I am confident in all of their futures that they're gonna know their stuff. Like and subscribe.
Please like, subscribe, comment, bro, share, bro. Donate to my OnlyFans.